And this is your latest Manchester United news and transfer news. Happy birthday, Bruno. Happy birthday, Bruno. Happy birthday to Bruno, the best attacking midfield footballer in the world. Anyway, no, happy birthday, Bruno. Hello, everyone. I hope you're doing very well. Lots to talk about this morning. We're going to talk off about Sergio Reguilon or Reguilon or whatever. I don't know how you pronounce it. And to be honest with you, until we sign him, I just feel that I don't really want to learn the official term because it could be futile. However, look. What needs to be said about this is a lot of excitement, and some people just seem to think I'm not excited about this prospect, and I am. I am excited about it because we do need two left backs, and I feel that we've got 1.5 at the moment, and some might say you've got one, and that's nothing to do with Luke Shaw and his diet and things like that. I think that's disgusting. Absolutely disgusting. I hate it. I love Luke Shaw. I think he's a fantastic player, and I think the people talking about his weight, it's just ridiculous. It's just an ism. It is. It's like what attacking someone because their weight is the same as attacking somebody because they've got spots or something like that. It's bullying. So I don't like it. I do not like it. But I accept we've got 1.5 left backs. We've got Luke Shaw and we've got Brandon Williams, who's right-footed. So we do need another left-back. So Sergio Reguilón is definitely a player that Manchester United are looking at. But the situation with this deal, as it stands at the moment, is it's on hold, or it's stalling, or whatever you want to call it, or we're monitoring, or we're considering. And that could change very, very quickly. Look, 1 o'clock we could be live saying, look, this is going to happen. He's going to be signing, he's going to hold the shirt up tomorrow. So, look, it can happen, and United definitely retain an interest. The reality is, how interested are United? Because we were talking yesterday about Alex Telles of Porto. United do want a left-back. I think the priority is obviously Sancho and a centre-back, but this has presented itself as something that is at the forefront of Solskjaer's mind because of what happened at the end of last season. We missed out on winning Europa League. We had big problems down that left-hand side when Luke Shaw got injured. And going into a new season, you're like, well, what if Luke Shaw gets injured again? I'm going to have the same problem. So it's logical to look at a left-back. And Sergio Reguilón is a player that United like and are interested in. And I tell you what, I'm excited about it because he's not Ben Chilwell. He's not Brexit FC. He actually is a foreign scouted player that United are looking at again. And this is exciting. So what's happening with the Sergio Reguilón deal? Well, Real Madrid are going to move him on, and Spanish reports are very much where we thought we were a couple of days ago. It's stalling because there is an issue around can United or any club do a deal that suits them with Real Madrid? And I've said this many times. Name me the last player we bought from Real Madrid. Was it Di Maria? Name me the last player we sold to Real Madrid. I don't remember. And I might be being really thick here. I don't remember the last player we sold to Real Madrid. We very nearly sold David De Gea, and the fax machine pissed Real Madrid off. We don't have a brilliant relationship with Real Madrid because Real Madrid think they're a bigger club than everybody else, and Manchester United don't like that. They like to box their weight. So the issue with Sergio Reguilón is if Real Madrid demand what they are apparently demanding from Spanish outlets, which is a buyback clause, United have limited interest in that deal. If it's a loan deal, United have limited interest in that deal. It serves Sevilla to have a Real Madrid player on loan for a season because they're not as big as Real Madrid. But Manchester United don't feel, and probably quite rightly I would say, don't feel they should be bending down to Real Madrid and taking a player that they put the work in. I mean, imagine we buy Sergio Reguilón for Chicharito was the last player I think that went to Real Madrid. Thank you. Definitely after Ronaldo, everyone's saying that. So well done on that. Bit of quiz there. Chicharito, yeah. But what I was going to say is, if we buy Sergio Reguilón for 25 million, 30 million euros, that's a good deal in today's market. But if we buy him for 25 million pounds with a buyback clause, and that buyback clause is 50 million, then he comes to United at 23. In 3 years' time, he's 26. He's one of the best left backs in the world. And we sell him for 50 million, then effectively it's just a long-term loan deal where you get 25 million back. So it doesn't work for United to do that. And not many big clubs sell players with buyback clauses in them. You might get a first refusal, like City have got it with Sancho, but it's irrelevant because he doesn't want to go there and they don't want him back. We've got it with Memphis Depay, but it's irrelevant because we don't want him back and I don't think he wants to come back necessarily. But buyback clauses are very restrictive because buyback clauses will tend to be We can buy him back when we want for this fee. And that is very restrictive. And it doesn't matter how much you like Sergio Reguilón. It's basically just a pimped up loan deal. And United won't want that. And I think United are right not to want that. So what we need to do here is manoeuvre a situation where we can buy this player for 30 million euros, 25 million pounds, and he's our player with no buyback clause in. And that appears to be the stalling point according to Spanish outlets at the moment. And this is why there is a feeling that Sergio Reguilón is very, very much... It's going to be driven by Real Madrid, because Real Madrid may well say, well, look, if you don't give us a buyback clause, we're happy for him to go on loan to Sevilla. So it's going to be about what Reguilón wants, and it's going to be about what other clubs are in there, because there may be a club that comes in, say, an Inter Milan or someone like that. I'm just using them as an example, who say, yeah, we'll take him, and we'll take him with the buyback clause, and Reguilón goes, you know what, I don't mind playing in Serie A, I'm off. So it may not be a deal that's as simple as we think, because United, I think, quite rightly, will dig their feet in and say we don't want a buyback clause in it. But it's then going to be about, well, here's a club who will take it, and Reguilón wants it, and we miss out. So we need to see how this is going to develop, and it could develop very, very quickly, because I think he's due back in training today with Real Madrid, and this certainly, I don't think there's a future for him at Real Madrid, and I think Real Madrid do want to move him on. But it's just about Real Madrid and these buyback clauses. Hi Mark, news coming in that Alex Tellez agent's travelling to Manchester for a deal. Looks like a Reguilón stalls and Tellez is in, says Rohit. I mean, look, what I would say, we spoke about this yesterday. If it's a choice between Reguilón and Tellez, Tellez is 27, Reguilón is 23. I think Reguilón is a more rounded fullback. I think defensively he's good, and going forward he's good. I think Tellez is way better going forward. And not as good defensively. So it depends, doesn't it? I think Tellez becomes more of a backup player for sure, whereas Reguilón, I think, in many eyes, would become a real challenger for Luke Shaw. So it depends what you want. I think more people want Reguilón than they want Tellez. But look, there's no doubt, if you're moaning about the fact that our fullbacks, Wan-Bissaka and Luke Shaw, don't do Trent Alexander-Arnold and Andy Robertson type things in relation to creativity, then Tellez is probably a better bet, because going forward he's excellent, absolutely excellent. Reguilón's more of a balanced fullback, so we'll see what happens. But it's that's where we're at with it at the moment. There just feels like it's stalling, because it's not the thing is, well, it's not an easy deal to do unless we take the deal that Real Madrid are offering to us, because it's these bloody buyback clauses and terms and everything like that. That doesn't make for an easy deal. And I think people felt this was going to happen really, really quickly because Van der Beek did. But this has the hallmarks of being quite a difficult deal to do because of Real Madrid and because of what they're demanding. Unless they drop all that and go, you know what, we'll just take 25 million, which they might do because Real Madrid need money. They're trying to offload Gareth Bale. They're mentioning Manchester United in relation to Gareth Bale. But look, Man United can say, look, there's 25 million euros. You can have it now. But then again, somebody else might come in and say, yeah, we'll give you 25 million euros, but we'll also and we'll have the buyback clause. So let's just see what happens with Reguilón. But it just seems to be a little bit up in the air at the moment. On Gareth Bale, I've got other things to talk about as well. Quite interesting comments from Gary Neville about the transfers and maybe walking away from a Jadon Sancho deal, which have been slightly misquoted, to be fair. But Gareth Bale, look, I don't ever want to do a thumbnail with Gareth Bale on it this transfer window. Every transfer window, there's always been a video with Gareth Bale. And I said it at the start of the transfer window, and I'll say it now. I don't want to lead on a Gareth Bale story to Manchester United because it's bollocks or it's a nightmare. We're not buying Gareth Bale, and if we did buy Gareth Bale, what a joke. He's just a fantastic talent. One of the best talents in the world, I felt. But he's wasted that talent, and he's wasted that opportunity to do it at Old Trafford. He's 31. He's hardly played any football. He's on about 600k a week. This is just nothing. I mean, at the end of the day, somebody said on Twitter, he's just a Welsh Alexis Sanchez. And to be honest with you, on paper, he's probably worse because he's 2 years older, he's played less football, and he'd be on more money. It's just no. But Spanish papers are talking about United interest and everything like that. But no, it's just not. It's just no. And don't anybody say, well, he'd be a good short-term gap instead of Sancho while we wait till next year. God, no. How would you ever get rid of him? You're like, how would you get rid of Gareth Bale? Like, it's just no. New third kit is really nice. Have you seen it? And I think Chelsea will finish below us as though they made too many signings, says Stansfield. And why are we not moving players on? Are we hoarding players now? Says John. Check out the video from last night. I can't go into all that again, but it was quite in depth last night about players, trying to buy players. Assos makes a very good point. Real Madrid very difficult to deal with. Remember Morata, and we did want Morata, and Chelsea wanted Lukaku, and we changed course very quickly and stole Lukaku, and then Chelsea got Morata because we spent so long trying to do a deal with Real Madrid, and that was for a striker that they didn't want. So people thinking, oh well, they don't even want Reguilon anymore. It makes no difference. Real Madrid are a pain in the arse to deal with, especially for us. So let's see what happens with it. I mean, the exciting thing is that we're monitoring it. We are interested. We do want a left back. Let's see if we can get it over the line. But it does seem to be a little bit more complicated than some have been saying about deals being done and all this nonsense. So there you go. As for deals being done, the third kit is awful, in my opinion. I don't like it, and I'm not going to pretend to like it. I think it will grow on people, but I don't like it. But the good news on the away kit is that although the zebra top has zebra shorts and zebra socks and looks a mess, when United wear it, we're not wearing the zebra shorts and the zebra socks. They're just available for the general public to suffer in. United will wear white shorts and white socks, which will look better, but I don't know what sort of prat is going to buy the shorts and socks. Like, you know, my daughter loves the United kits, and even she said, I don't think I'd get those shorts and socks. So, you know, the top, you know, I still wouldn't go near that, but it's for everybody. It's not for me to say not to get it. And Ben Hodgson loves it. So there you go. Please smash a like on the video. Subscribe if you are new. So next thing I want to talk about is Gary Neville's comments. So basically, the reason I'm bringing this up, and actually, let me just get through some of the transfer news first. So Thiago not due back in training this week. This is from Christian Falk and Fabrizio Romano. This may not be a shock because I think he's having a little bit of a break after playing for Spain. We've done happy birthday to Bruno Ruben. Again, Fabrizio Romano basically talking about Manchester United and saying Manchester United have not made any offer to Bayern Munich. They've expressed an interest to the agent, but nothing more than that at the moment. Still very much Liverpool, 30 million euros, a deal can be done, and potentially a deal for Barcelona. So Thiago. Look, it was a slim chance for United. It's gone very, very quiet at the moment. Doesn't mean we can't do something quick. We've seen with Van der Beek, we can move quick, but it doesn't look like anything's going to happen with Thiago. Smalling, apparently his agents are in Roma, according to some outlets. But Roma are getting a little bit frustrated with United. I think United are holding out for a decent fee for Smalling. I mean, somebody just said then about players going out the door. I mean, for me, if they want Chris Smalling for 15 million euro and we're holding out for 20 million euro, it's 2.5 million. I mean, at the end of the day, move the player on. He's on very big wages. He's on about 70, 80 grand a week. Just move him on. Like there comes a point where you've just got to take the loss and move them on. And we're messing around for a couple of million. Like the Smalling deal probably could have been done 2 weeks ago, and then you move on to somebody else. Taking way too long. Hi Mark, how do you feel about Shaw as a left centre-back this year and going for Marcano next year? Shaw might just turn out to be the next Alaba or Ramos, says Adibtu. I don't know. I don't know about that. I think he can do a job, but then if you move Luke Shaw to left centre-back, you've still only got one left-back again, haven't you? Sujai Singh, welcome to the United Stand Members Club. I appreciate that. But look, Gary Neville has been speaking, and I think one of the big headlines I saw this morning that made me read what he's actually said was that Goal was saying that Gary Neville had said it comes to a point where you just walk away from the Sancho deal. And I'd said, well, what? Walk away from the Sancho deal to do what? Like, he's a priority position. He's a statement signing that shows ambition from the club. And he's an absolutely baller. He's a baller. He's a younger player as well. He's one of the best young players in the world. So why should United walk away from the Sancho deal when he ticks every single box and shows momentum and ambition? So I was saying that, and what are you going to walk away from to buy Josh King or David Brooks or Harry Kane that don't tick any of the boxes that we need at the moment? So I don't agree with walking away from the Jadon Sancho deal. But I read deeper than the quotes that you get. And actually what Gary Neville has said is that United need left-back cover. A centre-back is a critical position. And that it's critical that United start to get some of these players over the line, because over the last year they've actually been doing quite well, But then there is an air of desperation in relation to how Manchester United do transfers. And he mentioned Chelsea and Man City and how they've effectively got players in quite quickly. But Manchester United need to be taking control of the transfer window. They need to set a hard deadline, and if they don't get that, they move away. There's a couple of points in what Gary said there, and we were talking about this last night. And effectively, what he's basically saying is what we said last night, DOF. We need a director of football. Because he's right. I think we have done some good business over the last year. Well, actually, let me just deal with the Sancho thing first. So basically what he's saying is that United need to set a hard deadline, take control of the deal, and then if they don't meet that hard deadline, we move away. So an example of what he's saying about Jadon Sancho is that Man United should be saying, look, we want to pay this much. You either accept the deal by last week or we move away. And that's, I don't necessarily disagree with what Gary Neville's saying there, but I think it's totally not relatable to the Jadon Sancho deal, because it's a bit like, it works better with Harry Maguire, where United's, well, it doesn't even work with Harry Maguire. I'm trying to think. I mean, welcome to Tincure and welcome to Siddharth, latest member of the United Members Club. Why is everyone so obsessed with playing Shaw at centre-back? We need to protect our players, not jab them into lineups, says Jacob. And welcome to Samuel Barika, latest member of the United Stand Members Club. And so, yeah, I'm trying to think. So when Gary Neville says we need to set a deadline, and if the club don't sell us, we walk away, I only think that works with somebody who needs to sell. And I'm trying to think of a club that needs to sell. So, like, Lyon are desperate to sell Memphis Depay, Moussa Dembele and Aouar, but they're not getting the offers they expected. So they're in a bit of a desperate situation. So what Gary Neville was saying there about setting a deadline, and if they don't meet that deadline, you just walk away and buy somebody else. That would be perfect if we wanted Moussa Dembele, because we'd go to Lyon and knowing they're in a financial difficulty, knowing they're not in Europe next season, knowing that Moussa Dembele wants to move, you'd go to Lyon and you'd say 40 million. And then Lyon go, oh, no, we want 50. That's where you set a deadline and say, right, 40 million, or you accept it by tomorrow, or we're walking away and we're going to go and buy someone else. And Lyon then go, shit, we better take it. It's the best offer. It's a good offer, and we take it. That's where Gary Neville's right. Where Gary Neville's wrong in that example is using Jadon Sancho, because Dortmund don't want to sell Sancho. And they've already said, if we're selling him, we want 108 million, 120 million euros. And we'll take it as a structured deal. So if United go to Dortmund and say, right, we're setting a deadline. You either accept 70 million or we're walking away. And United go, and Dortmund go, fine, don't even set it tomorrow. Set it now. Here's your coat. It's cold outside. Make sure you wear your gloves and piss off. So it doesn't work. That doesn't work. So saying United should walk away from the Sancho deal is not understanding the Sancho deal. United cannot go to Dortmund and set a deadline and walk away, because what Dortmund have done is set very clear and fair parameters that you either pay this price and you can have him, or you don't get him. So there is no deadline, there is no walk away. We're just being slow again on a deal. And the broader point about, we always seem quite desperate and unorganised in a transfer window, which is what Gary Neville mentioned as well. He certainly mentioned the desperation. Is correct. We end up spending ages negotiating and still paying the fee anyway. Harry Maguire, 6 weeks, and we still paid 80 million. Wan-Bissaka, I think, was 5 weeks, and we still paid 50 million. Bruno Fernandes, 3 or 4 weeks in a January transfer window, and we still paid nearly 50 million, and well, basically 60 million because he's got add-ons. And Jadon Sancho, this has been going for weeks and weeks and weeks, and we're still going to end up paying what Dortmund want. So there is that desperation. There is that we do need to take control, but taking control is not threatening other clubs and setting deadlines. Taking control is assessing a deal and basically saying, look, we're not going to get this down, so we may as well just pay it and move on and start doing other business. Director of football. That's the important thing with United. Don't know why people want to give up on Luke Shaw so easily. Fans can go from saying a player is amazing to saying they're awful after one game, says Ashley. The funny thing with Luke Shaw is that some people just have an agenda with him and don't want to see the good. And, there's another Luke who was like that, who's a lesson. Remember Luke Skywalker? People didn't want to see the good in Darth Vader. And, he was a bit of a shit. He went round killing young Jedis. In fact, he went around killing a lot of people. He was very angry. And but Luke saw the good in him. He even lost an arm, a hand, and he gave up his lightsaber, and he even got electrified by Darth Vader's mate. But in the end, the good came through. He saw the good in him. And some people just don't want to see the good in Luke Shaw. And there's a lot of good. And I'm not saying he's anything like Darth Vader. He's visibly good. He's doing good things. He was our Player of the Year a couple of years ago. He's been Player of the Month. I think he was brilliant last season from Christmas until he got injured. I understand the injury argument, but I don't understand why people have an agenda against him, because I think he's a very, very good left-back. If you can buy a better left-back, fine. But I think he's a very good left-back and a very good player. Only Van der Beek has been a quick deal, and I'd put that down to Van der Sar and not United. Other deals have taken a lot of time. We can't do quick deals. It's sad. This is Daniel Ansari. And welcome to the Members Club, Sanyul Barika. Thank you everyone who's becoming a member of the club, by the way. Really helps the channel. Really excited about some of the stuff we've got planned with United stand and getting out there across Europe and the world. So members, you get your badge next to your name and everything like that. Mark definitely watched Star Wars last night. So I didn't. I was watching All or Nothing last night, laughing my head off at Danny Rose. What a prat. He went in there like Billy Big Bollocks, didn't he, against Jose Mourinho. I've had enough. It's not fair. I'm not getting picked. And I just wanted Mourinho. What I would have said. I suppose he's got cameras on him, and you've got to be careful. But if I would just wanted Mourinho to go, I didn't pick you because you're shit. You know, basically. Mark, we did a quick Donny van der Beek deal because we have connections with Ajax through Van der Sar. I mean, Van der Sar keeps getting mentioned. I would love Van der Sar to be our manager. It's not our manager, our director of football. And welcome to Rashid Singh, latest member of the United Stand Members Club. Edward Walters says, starting to lose faith with the Sancho transfer. This is another level of incompetence from the club. Reguilon offer, Real first refusal or walk away, says Edward Walters. And Mark, we should get a petition going for you to be director of football. That would never happen, says Jake Dobson. He didn't say that, I'm saying that. Just what I would say on the Sancho deal is, I'm relaxed about that. I've got to be honest with you. I haven't changed from 90% for a long time. What I would say about the Sancho deal is that, and look, I saw a certain somebody saying it's going to happen on the 14th because it's been leaked from the club. I can tell you for a fact that that has not been leaked from the club. If it ends up being the 14th of September, that is a brilliant, brilliant guess. But it's not. United have not got emails saved with promo videos of Sancho and headers and everything like that because it's not done. Like, how can you be ready to announce him on the 14th of September when we've not agreed the deal with Dortmund? And I think the argument of these people is, well, it's agreed, but it's just being kept quiet because he's on international duty. But the 14th isn't until a week yesterday. So what you need to understand is people like Fabrizio Romano and other good journalists are in conversation with the agents and the lawyers involved in these deals. So if a deal had been done between Manchester United and Dortmund and Sancho and it was all being kept quiet, there's no way it could be kept quiet until the 14th, and there's no way certain people wouldn't know about that. So it could well end up being the 14th because it fits into the week I think it could happen, which is basically any day from Thursday to the following Thursday. But it's not. United are not waiting to announce it on a certain date because they haven't finalised the deal with Dortmund yet. And that might panic people, but actually, many of us have been saying this. It was never going to get finalised while he's on international duty. Realistically, he's playing for England tonight. Tomorrow, he won't be playing for England, and that may be an opportunity to start escalating the deal. But it may not. It may not happen till the end of bloody September. Who knows? I mean, look, to be honest with you, at this point, United don't really seem to care about... If it was us, we would have had him in 3 weeks ago. If it was us, we'd definitely have him in by mid next week so he can play against Crystal Palace because it's an important game. But for United, as I said last night, we've seen United. They will give up points to try and save a little bit of money. They've done it. The Bruno one really annoys me. That Burnley game we lost 2-0. He should have been in the club by then. We were trying to save a little bit of money here and there. So look, Sancho, it makes sense that it happens in the next week. And maybe it will be announced on the 14th, but that's a guess. But it might not happen until the 31st. And there's not even 31 days left in a transfer window, actually. So it could be the 30th of September, but I don't know. The only problem Chelsea have is arranging the days for the signings, and look at us, laughing stock in the window. We need to move things quicker, says Argoel. And no matter how important Sancho is for us this summer, let's not forget that Woodward and Co are in charge. They just need an excuse to not do this deal, says Reflection. Reguilon and Thiago are a PR spin. We will only get Sancho and Van der Beek, and Ollie will go into a new season with both hands tied behind his back, says Ishan. Well, what I would say, and Gary Neville said it as well, and many of you have said it, and I was on about it last night, the centre-back position is critical for United. Really critical. If we go into this season without bringing in a new centre-back, it doesn't matter whether you've got Sancho, Van der Beek or Ronaldo. Yeah, we're going to score a lot of goals, but some games you're gonna have to get a draw, a 1-1 draw against a decent team, or you're not going to score. You're going to hit the post 20 times. You're going to need a clean sheet a few times. So it doesn't matter how many great attackers you've got. People say, oh, just outscore them, but it doesn't always work like that. Barcelona sometimes with Messi don't score. Ronaldo with Real Madrid, they don't always score. So defence is very important. We do need a defender. And I will say this, if we get Sancho and Van der Beek, it's a good transfer window, but he should have got the centre-back as well. So let's see what happens. Go for Telles and Diaz, offer Rojo going the other way, and hopefully chuck in Jones and try to lure in Ben Yedder as a striking option, says Neil Shah. And I agree with Neville. Agree to our price or move on. Happy to sign him, but not bothered if we don't. It's not the end of the world either way, says Robert McCormack. Well, but I disagree with you, Robert, because what if our price is 80 million? We've just wasted, there's no logic to tell them the price and walk away, because Dortmund told us the price very early on. This is the price. Why have United spent weeks trying to negotiate if they were never going to pay the price? So I get your example, but that example only works with a club that's desperate to sell and is being unreasonable. Dortmund are not being either of those things. Hi Mark, it's Tuesday night in New Zealand and I'm lying in bed with my wife explaining to her how much I love you. I bloody love you, says Matt Carroll. So I'm almost in a cyber threesome. I feel a bit uncomfortable with that. It's almost like you're using me for foreplay. Forget Sancho, bring on David Neres from Ajax, says Bonville's massive drop off there, mate. And I would love to be negotiator for United, travelling all over the world but doing absolutely no work. I can't believe how slow we are at doing deals, says Stewie Evans versus the world. Well, look, let's see what happens today. Please smash a like on the video if you're watching, by the way. Let's see what happens today. And, things are happening. It is an international day for England, but Reguilon is not part of that. Thiago is not part of that. And United are not part of that. So there could well be some developments today. But as I said, I think the issue with the Reguilon deal at the moment is this difficulty in dealing with Real Madrid, which I said at the very start. I said, look, one of my big concerns with this is we've got to deal with Real Madrid, and we don't have a very good recent record of doing that. But let's see what happens, because maybe Real Madrid will say we need the money and they'll forego the buyback clause. People outraged at the new kit. Just wear the red one. Could be worse. Arsenal kit makes them look like they stepped off the set of Dexter. Yeah, or got attacked by Freddy Krueger. Aidan Hamadi, welcome, latest member of the United Stand Members Club. And hi Mark, so excited for this season. Refreshed Pogba, Rashford and Martial to continue at what they started. Greenwood to get better, Bruno to run the show, and so much more. Just need more signings, says Joshua DeVille. Exactly, and we're working towards that, Joshua. We're working towards that positivity. There is things to be positive about. And look, but we do need to get some players in. Thanks everyone for watching. Smash a like, subscribe if you're new. We'll be live with any breaking news today, of course, and we've got the show tonight as well. I feel United are purposely dragging Sancho deal. Imagine what we would demand if they signed him weeks before window closes. They don't want to spend again, says Steez94. I do feel that the Sancho deal has been staggered purposely, and I don't know whether that's to save money or whatever, but it does feel like that. Thanks for watching. Speak to you soon.